Hi, welcome to Module 3. My name is Gasper and I'm Developer Relations Lead at Oasis Network. In this module, I will show you how to transfer rows simply with our official Oasis Wallet browser extension. So we will see how to send some rows, how to receive some rows in browser extension, and also how to delegate or even undelegate. So basically, if you want to stake your rows to get some reward, we will see how to do that. So let's start with how to transfer rows on consensus layer. Okay? So for that reason, you will need browser extension, or even Oasis Wallet Web can actually transfer, which means send and receive rows on consensus layer. Okay? Now, I will show you the demo later on, but essentially if you take a look at screenshots, you see that Oasis demo account, which I created or imported at the beginning, has some rows, has some available rows, has some active delegations and so on, right? So if I want to send from my account, from my Oasis consensus account, to some address, I will have to click send. Okay, and then you will notice I can enter amount, how many rows, and then destination Oasis 1 address or destination consensus address, okay, or the receiving address. And then you can click next and confirm the transaction. After a few seconds, you can actually go back and check your balance again or available rows, and you will see that the number or the amount was deducted, or 5 rows are now gone since you send them to another account. Okay, so that's how simple it is. You go to wallet, you click send, you provide amount, and then to which consensus address, and you will have to confirm transaction, and that's sending some rows to consensus address. Now, if you want to receive, of course, there is another button called receive, right? Called receive. And then you will get the address of your wallet, of your account, and you can share this address to anyone who wants to send you some rows. Now, if you want to transfer some rows from consensus to paratimes, then you will have to go not to wallet but to paratimes. This is very useful if you want to use some dApps on Emerald EVM compatible blockchain. So you can essentially do what? You can actually, let's say, buy some rows on exchange and then send these rows to consensus address, basically to your wallet, to your consensus layer address, Oasis 1 address. And then you can transfer these rows from consensus layer to paratime. How to do that? You can usually go to paratimes tab and select Emerald to paratime button. Okay, that means that you will send or transfer some rows from consensus to paratime, Emerald paratime. Now, the second step is to provide amount of rows that you want to send or transfer. And you see the available is only 5 because we already, sent 5 to another consensus address. And then provide Ethereum compatible account. Okay, so now this is not the consensus transaction or transfer, but it's actually sending rows to Ethereum compatible account. Okay, so that's our, let's say, Emerald account. Okay, so once I provide and I click next and confirm the transaction, you will notice that your wallet will have balance only 3 since we, sent 2 from 5, so the remaining is 3 rows. Okay, and you will also see the transaction now will appear as an Emerald transaction, not as a regular transaction to consensus. Okay, so that's how simply you transfer, your rows from consensus to paratime. You can also do the opposite direction. Okay, so you can actually send some rows from paratime to consensus. That's also possible. Now, to stake your rows or to delegate rows to a validator to receive some rewards for, let's say, securing the network, you can delegate minimum 100 rows to one of the validators. Okay, so how you do that? First of all, you must have available minimum 100 rows, and then you can go to staking tab where you actually find active validators. Okay, so basically you need to click validators and you will see active validators there. Okay, now why I actually pointed out this 5% is because usually you can select any validator. We have about, or let's say 120 validators, and you can select anyone, so any validator who you like, but we want to make sure that we have decentralized network. So usually we say, okay, make sure that you maybe select actually your favorite one, or maybe one that it's not in top 10 to not support really centralization, but you can go down below, select the one you like, and maybe check the commission that it's acceptable for you, right? So that's why I actually squared this one, right? So it's 5%, which is, low enough for me to accept it. Even 10% is not too big, but that's what it is. Now, once you select the validator, you can enter amount of rows you want to send, or you want to delegate, or you want to stake, right? So I will do 100, the minimum, and you see I've chosen the course one validator. You can go to any one basically. So sometimes I choose Stakefish, course one, there's Binance staking and so on. So a lot of a lot of validators to choose from. And then you click next and confirm the transaction. Okay, so basically that's also a transaction that you need to confirm. And then once the transaction is confirmed, you can go from validators tab to my delegations. These my delegations will actually show you how many rows you actually staked or delegated on how many validators. So basically I have 2 active delegations. And then on each validator or active delegation, you can actually delegate more or even undelegate. Okay, so if you want to, let's say, claim your rows with rewards, you will do undelegate. So you click undelegate. All right, so I will show you that on the next slide. So how to undelegate? Again, you go to staking tab. You have to go to my delegations, the default one, and then you have active delegations. So all your delegations that you did before, and then you see many validators that you were using, and just decide which one you want to undelegate. Okay, so once you click undelegate, you can enter the amount. You don't need to undelegate all, but you can undelegate only, I don't know, maybe 1, maybe 100, maybe thousands. It depends how many you have. And then click next to confirm the transaction again. Okay. Once you will confirm the transaction for undelegation, you will find debonding delegations, or let's say your active debonding delegations, under this tab. So you will see that I had some from before, so I only have 86 hours left, and I have, so that course one was actually the one that I staked before, that I delegated before, and that's why there are like 336 hours, right, which is approximately 14 days to be received, right? So essentially you get all the rows back with rewards that you earned in this in this time. Welcome to second demo, which is about transferring rows, especially focusing on how to delegate and how to undelegate. With other words, if you want to stake your rows and secure the network, so help to secure the network, you get rewarded for that. So that's staking your rows. And let's see how we will do that. First of all, you need to have, in this case, either browser extension, or if you go to wallet.oasisprotocol.org, you can open your wallet. So now we have only 0.1 rows for usage. We can send it to friends, we can stake it and so on, right? The problem is that the minimum amount of rows for staking is 100 rows. Okay, now what we will do, I need to receive some rows. Okay, so to do that, I can actually copy this address and I will just use another account, another Oasis account, which I have in my browser extension. So I will open my wallet. I will change the account to Oasis Demo 2 because I have enough rows. And you see available 108. So I want to make sure that I send at least 100 rows, amount 100 to my address, okay? So I can stake that amount. So maybe I will even do 101. Sometimes it's always better to have a bit more assets because, in some particular cases you might need some additional rows or USDC or, ETH and so on to confirm and pay for fees and so on, right? So I will do 101. But in our case, you will notice now if I go out of that transaction, I should, if I refresh that wallet, I should have 101.1 rows. Yep. Okay. So you see that's how I actually, let's say, deposit some rows to my, to this account, to this wallet account. And now since I have enough rows, I can do staking within my, within my wallet. So I should probably open that wallet again. Or you know what? I prefer to use my browser extension. So I will just switch the account back to new demo account. So you see the ending is the same as YTH, okay, 101.1, you see. So what I can do is actually stake my rows. Go to staking tab. You have active delegation 0 because I didn't delegate, any rows yet. So I will go to validators and I will just select one of the validators with, let's say, a fee that is acceptable. I will choose this one, tessellated geometry. Okay, I will send you some rows. So, all right, there is amount of rows self-delegated, other delegations. I will say delegate, and then I will do amount. Okay, I will enter 100. And I will click next and I will confirm the transaction. Okay, so that's delegating. Okay, it's not sending my rows to validator, but it's actually staking. Okay, so you see the type of transaction now is staking.add-escrow. So that's actually our staking or delegation. Okay, if I go back and back, I can click wallet now, and you notice the available amount is only 1.1, right? Because I delegated 100, okay? And you see the history, there it is. And if I go to staking now, and maybe I click my delegations, you see I have active delegations. So one active delegation of 100 rows. Okay, so you see it's active. Delegated 100 rows, and now you can delegate more. Okay, you see I can just enter the amount to the same validator, or I can click undelegate. And you will see I can do all. So click all, and I will click next. I will confirm. And that's how I actually undelegate my rows from the validator. Okay, so what you will notice now is that, okay, if I go to to refresh just to see the transaction, let me see. Okay, so you see total, available is still only 1.1. Why? Because I need to wait approximately 14 days to receive my undelegated rows back to my address. Okay, so if I go to staking now, you will notice that my delegations, active delegations, is 0 because I actually undelegated. So if I go to debonding delegations, okay, let me see. Maybe it needs to refresh. Okay, let's go back. Let's try to just reopen the web browser. The browser extension. The transaction is here. If I go to staking, debonding, voila, there it is. So debonding delegations are now all the debondings that you did, or unstakings if you want, right? And that are, let's say, waiting to be released to your account again. Okay, so you see 100 rows is being undelegated, and after 336 hours approximately, I will receive them back to my wallet, and this wallet will have available 101.1. Okay, so that's how easy it is to receive some rows or to send some rows and then to stake it to some validator and maybe undelegate when you feel so. Thank you for being here, and see you in the next module.